the state of Warzone and you know what I'm saying? Am I done with Warzone? I'm getting tired of this low key. See what I'm saying? And it's a video right here. Dreamstrike. He makes really good Warzone videos. It's a serious talk about Warzone. It's dying.
So by now, I think you've all seen that Call of Duty and specifically Warzone isn't in a great spot right now.
It's not.
People are mass quitting the game and everyone is throwing their fingers in different directions on why the game is dying. And I wanted to make this video to give you my perspective on the state of Warzone. And I think the game is dying really for 3 specific reasons.
Let me hear
now, I
them.
haven't seen some of these reasons talked about. Now, before I get into the first reason, I do want to say that I don't think Verdansk is going to magically save this game.
I agree 1000%. Verdansk is not going to do nothing to this game if the core gameplay and the lack of certain things don't change.
I've seen people talk about online about how when Verdansk comes back, it's going to bring us back to the glory days of Warzone 1. And I just don't think that that's the case. I think that nostalgia can only get you so far in gaming.
Agreed.
And, you know, Call of Duty's been living off nostalgia now for several years by remaking some of our classic Call of Duty games. And I just think people are kind of fed up with getting
the Omni movement is a nice,
and, you know, not having some of these core issues.
It's a nice,
game, being fixed. So speaking of that, let's get into the reasons of why this game is dying. Oh, and by the way, this video is going to be a little.
What am I trying to say? The Omni movement was a nice idea, but I think Modern Warfare 2019 movement is still a lot better and a lot smoother than the Omni movement. If you add Omni movement to Modern Warfare 2019, it's like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard on MNK. Maybe I'm just ass. Nah, bro, it is. But at the same time, it's like, this is, you know what I mean? I think I saw something. The worst thing that they did for Warzone is they kept changing the engine every year for Warzone. By far, we should have one engine and you add upon that engine. We should still be on Modern Warfare 2019 engine. That is the best engine we've had in a few years now of playing COD. I'm gonna be honest. And now I'm sitting here like, I miss that engine. Like, man, everything was insanely smooth, bro. You know what I'm saying, chat? Like, that was an insane engine, bro. You add on that, like Fortnite. Fortnite is still the same game engine-wise. They just add on to it. Now on Fortnite, you can tack sprint, you can climb, you can slide, but at the end of the day, it's still Fortnite. You know what I'm saying?
Little bit different from my typical video. It's going to be more of my unfiltered opinion on the state of Warzone because I think this topic is really important and I don't want to edit and then sugarcoat what I'm about to say. So let's start with
wonder, like, Robin, why don't you?
One reason why I think most people.
All right, I'm not gonna pause this much. People are like, Robin, why aren't you playing Warzone anymore when you stream? I'm starting to stream a lot more, bro. 5 days a week over on Twitch. It's just I want to. It's just now I have to figure out different ways to have fun on stream, because before it was just 8 hours of Warzone and I used to enjoy it a lot. Now it's like I can play Warzone for maybe an hour and 30 minutes, maybe 2 hours. Now I'm like, I gotta find something else to do, and I got better. Bro, I got fiber now. I got fiber internet, and I don't want to play Warzone. All I wanted during Warzone 1 was fiber. When I got fiber, y'all remember when I moved to Texas and I had fiber, bro? Warzone 1, that's when I dropped my first 50. Like, bro, I'm done pausing
in this game. Now, when I play a game, the #1 rule that I'm always looking for is that game fair, right? Like, if I'm playing a competitive game, I want to be on the same equal playing field as my competitors. And if the game is designed to be unfair, well, you aren't playing a competitive game. I'm not having fun. You're basically gambling. And that's what I've been feeling like lately when I play Warzone. I feel like I'm gambling with my time.
That is a
lot of reason for this. And the #1 is cheaters. Unfortunately, right now with Call of Duty and with the
I haven't ran into a lot of cheaters,
really
but
bad right now.
I've been seeing a lot about it on Twitter.
You out of the sky and making it look really blatant. A lot of it is wall hacks and people who are basically able to see you through
There's a lot of people cheating that you wouldn't even know.
You know whether or not someone's doing that. And then on top of that, there's an exploit right now where basically cheaters can send a bunch of packets to the servers and then just
Gummy, thanks for the 15 months, baby.
So if you get lucky enough to actually kill the cheater in the game, well, they can just crash the game.
We have 50 subs now.
Your experience. And then you end up just wasting, 15, 20 minutes of your time that you've spent playing that game and it's pretty much all for nothing. Now,
going for content on Warzone does not feel the same.
This isn't a new issue, but I feel like with all of the news and updates we've gotten on Ricochet and how much Call of Duty talks about this amazing anti-cheat program, we would just expect there to be a decline in cheaters overall.
The anti-cheat sucks.
As time goes on, man. We just aren't seeing that. But it goes deeper.
I can tell you slowly started hating it. Yeah.
Another big thing.
Not hating, but
I don't know what it is exactly.
The servers
depending on the
suck.
server that I get in Warzone right now, it oftentimes feels like a coin flip on whether or not I win my gunfights. It doesn't feel like it comes down to my skill level or how accurate I am with my gun. It really just feels like the server. Sometimes it feels like my bullets aren't ready.
Everything he's saying right now is, I feel 100% the same, except cheating. I haven't ran into that many cheaters, but everything so far, 1000% yes.
Registering. Sometimes I'm getting shot 10 feet behind the wall because of desync. And a lot of it just is these inconsistencies in the server performance that just makes it feel like I'm not in control over how well I'm doing in the game. Now, I've seen a lot of people talk about the Warzone server tick rates and how low they are and, how they don't match up to industry standards. And for anyone who doesn't know, basically the server tick rate is how frequently the game is updating. And theoretically, like the more updates you get from the server, just the more accurate the server is to what's happening in real time.
Maybe not hating, but the passion.
You play an online game, you have to realize
I'll play Warzone and I'll be ready to get off after an hour.
What you're seeing on your screen looks like it's happening in real time, but you have to remember that you're connecting to people that may be, living across the world or across, the country from you.
Yeah.
And it's not all happening in real time. Basically, this data is getting sent to a server and the server is interpreting this data. So it's not just the server tick rates that are important. There's things like netcode and lag compensation.
Oh my God,
I'm not like a network expert by any means, but it just seems like overall the quality of the Warzone servers and the Call of Duty servers is very, very low.
I know that something like that is hard to do, but I feel like if I am a $1 billion company, it's something that I have all the money and resources to figure out. If you actually care, that is something that you can't put a price tag on. You can't hold yourself back. Oh, we're only going to spend $100,000 for netcode and figuring that out. Bro, you have the money, bro. You putting out all these skins and everything that I keep seeing on Twitter, bro. Spend the money to make your game good, and people are going to come spend their money anyway. You don't have to put out a trash product and just thrive off the name of Call of Duty, and at the end of the day you're sitting there like, well, we made another 10 million. If your game was good, you may have made 50 million. You may have made $1 billion if your game is actually good. Look at Fortnite, bro. Fortnite is a free-to-play game that has been blowing it out the water since I was in high school. I'm 24 now, dog. Come on.
And it just seems like, Activision has not invested in keeping these servers, at the higher end of the industry standard. And you just get a lot of servers and a lot of gunfights that just feel really inconsistent. And this adds to this feeling
the frustration,
of, I'm just
bro.
Gambling with my time, where the outcomes of my match aren't based on my own skill level. It's just based on kind of what the game is determining for me. And then on top of that, one of the biggest random factors with this game, and this has been an issue for a long time, and it's really been one of my sticking points with this franchise, is how bad the audio is in this game. I mean, at the end of the day, we're playing a battle royale, and there's just so much randomness in what can happen in that game, from where people can be, where opponents can be on the map, and you really have to rely on your ears and the audio cues that you get from the game to just know where people are.
That shit don't work. What am I doing?
And so bad in this game that there's just so many times you get lasered in the back by someone who's sprinting at you full speed, and you just have pretty much no time to react because of the relatively fast time to kill in this game. So once again, it just feels like you could be having this amazing game and it's just ruined by this moment where you just don't get good audio on somebody and you just don't have a chance to react. And that's just not a fun experience to have. And the audio has gotten so bad in this game that you now have people, who have basically figured out really clever ways to improve the audio.
Why do I gotta
kudos to those people.
Download 80 million packs.
They found success doing that, and there's nothing wrong with what these people are doing to improve the audio. But I just think that from a game level quality standpoint, it should never get to that point. You should never let the audio get so bad in a game that you have to have third party companies come in and basically redo your audio to make it so that you can actually play the game.
That's
and I'm
ridiculous.
not talking about standard audio adjustments like adding a little bit of EQ to adjust for your headphones or adding.
I did that Warzone 1. I remember using
you
EQ.
shouldn't have to download a bunch of third-party programs.
Literally,
just
bro.
Decent audio in the game. The audio should be pretty good out of the box, and then maybe you could do some minor tweaking just to make it the best it can be. At the end of the day, like the audio is 50%
I have audio
of your
EQ
gaming experience, right? You know, obviously you have the visuals, but then you also like the audio is so important, and I just feel like the audio in Warzone has always gotten a back seat when it comes to quality and support, and it just really negatively impacts my experience playing the game when I can't rely on the audio. So once again, it goes back to
such a good video,
unfairness, because oftentimes
in terms of the things that he's bringing up and the things that he's saying,
who got better audio on who in the gunfight. And then another specific issue that I've seen here recently with the integration is for like the more casual based players. You know, we've had just this abnormally long time that it takes to level your guns in
Bro, it
Warzone.
takes forever to level up now.
If you're trying to play this game with guns that aren't max level, you're just at such an inherent disadvantage, you know, when you're playing. And that's just been like, I guess, a retention hack that Call of Duty's been using for quite a long time.
And it does not work.
Make the gun leveling take longer so that people play the game longer, so they can kind of boost their numbers. And
that is the dumbest thing ever, bro. Turn the volume up, Unc. Bro, stop calling me Unc, nigga. It's up all the way.
Because, you know, a lot of people don't have, you know, hundreds of hours to sink into games just to level their guns to be able to then compete at a fair level.
I'll turn the subtitles on for you.
That's been another big reason, you know, that has pushed people to not want to play since the integration. And then another recurring issue that I think is unfortunately going to always be an issue with online gaming, you know, now is the issue of crossplay. At the end of the day, you know, it's never going to be fair when someone's playing on a $5,000 PC versus.
That's the one thing that I don't agree with. I'm gonna let him finish this thought, but I don't agree with that.
To someone who's playing on a console, because you're going to have differences in frame rates and things like that. But I will say, I don't think that Warzone has done a good job at all balancing mouse and keyboard with controller. I think that, you know, once you get to that like more upper echelon of player on controller, aim assist becomes a really big issue for mouse and keyboard players. And this is coming from someone who's has experience on both inputs. I pretty much feel like when I'm playing on mouse and keyboard, I just really can't keep up with the aim assist because of how rotational aim assist basically has no delay when you're tracking someone.
I feel that sometimes.
I don't think that the game has done a good job trying to retain mouse and keyboard players.
Agreed. I've been playing mouse and keyboard since Modern Warfare 2019, and the only reason that I've stayed playing mouse and keyboard is because I can play mouse and keyboard on other games. It's like if I'm just getting good at mouse and keyboard, and if I decide to play something else, I'll be able to play mouse and keyboards still. The one thing that I don't agree with in this instance of people talking about crossplay is that my $5,000 PC going up against a $500 console, that does not give me an advantage. For the simple fact that I've watched really good players play on console and do the exact same thing that they were doing on their PC. Joe, for example. Joe had a video of him playing on PS5. And he was like, you know what I'm saying? It looked like a regular Joe. You know what I mean? Like, that does not change the player. Will my game feel smoother on PC? Yes. But now you guys on console have FOV. So now all of your guns can also have zero recoil or zero visual recoil. You know what I mean? Like, and the whole crossplay thing being, oh, cheaters have taken over Call of Duty since PC players. You guys must be new. Modern Warfare 2, PlayStation 3 was the first time I've ever ran into a wall hacking aimbotter. In 2009. You guys are lost. Cheating was a thing back then as well on PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. You know what I'm saying? Like, has it gotten worse? Yes. But that, you know what I mean? That does not mean anything, bro. Activision has brainwashed us into fighting each other about the issue instead of looking at Activision like, you guys are doing a terrible job at managing your game, so that cheaters don't ruin our experience as actual players. They have brainwashed y'all into being like, yo, it's our fault. It's PC's fault. Let's go back to console. Instead of looking at Activision and like, y'all suck. Y'all aren't doing your jobs the right way and the proper way. And now, like, why are you punishing me, a person who plays mouse and keyboard, who's not going to go back to console, and say, let's take crossplay away? Now I can't play with my friends who don't have a PC because a $1 billion company can't get a anti-cheat or a working anti-cheat because they probably don't want to spend their real resources to do it. No.
Because basically you're just putting yourself at a massive disadvantage if you're at a higher skill level playing on mouse and keyboard, because you're just going to run into a lot of very, very good controller players who are just going to just basically not miss many shots with aim assist. Now, there's definitely more reasons than this on why the game just doesn't feel fair. You know, I could talk about the shadow ban system and how the game is basically taking legit players and putting them in a shadow ban loop where they can't even play. And that just doesn't make any sense because you have blatant hackers who just aren't getting banned. But that pretty much like covers like why this game just doesn't really feel fair at the end of the day. And it just feels like you're pretty much just, you know, gambling your time until you can get a lobby that there aren't any cheaters, and you get a lobby where like the servers feel
never actually had a tool.
You're actually getting, you know, decent audio.
I've never downloaded anything third party. Never.
And, like, fair gaming experience.
People used to call me a cheater all the time.
Downhill is another big reason, and it's one that I haven't seen people talk about as much. And it's that I don't think that Warzone really has a strong identity as a game. You know, if you look at the history of Warzone, basically the business model is that it pretty much follows the updates that the multiplayer is getting each year. And if you're unfamiliar, there's basically a 3-studio system where you have Infinity Ward, Treyarch, and Sledgehammer, and they pretty much like stagger their releases year after year so that each studio can have a lot of time to develop the multiplayer game. And essentially each game is pretty much like almost like a standalone entry into the franchise, where that studio has like full creative control over how the game feels, you know, what guns it gets, that kind of stuff. And each year the game feels different. And I think that this business model works okay for multiplayer, because if you think about it from like a consumer standpoint,
for multiplayer, absolutely. But Warzone,
$60
free to play,
every year, I want to feel like I'm getting a different product, right? Like if
that
I
makes
buy
sense,
a new pair of shoes, I want those shoes to feel new, right? So like with multiplayer, if I'm going to spend that money, I want to feel like the game is different from what I was just playing. But with Warzone, I think that this is very different. Warzone's a free-to-play game, and we're not, like, if most players aren't paying for an update to the game, right? They're paying for individual skins, and they're paying for items on the current version of Warzone. So when you don't pay for these updates, when all of a sudden these get rolled out and now the game just feels completely different,
it could throw you off by like,
it's a very jarring experience, and it's basically like you're just like getting like something that you're not asking for, right?
That's a fact, bro. Holy cow. Imagine you're a Warzone only player and you've been going through these updates. Oh, I know that hurt.
It makes you scratch your head because you're like, well, I really liked this game a couple months ago and I spent all this money on these skins, and now this update's come along and just changed everything, and it's made, you know, this Warzone into a new game that I never even asked for, right? And on top of that, I can't go back and play the old, you know, game that I really enjoyed, because it's a live service model and it just constantly gets updates. And unfortunately, all these different studios that work, the only thing that does is hurt your player base. Different visions of what Warzone should be and what the multiplayer should be. So you constantly get like this flip-flopping every year of like how competitive and how sweaty the game is. Like some years, like Modern Warfare 2, the game is super casual and they get rid of the movement and just make it
Modern Warfare 2
really like a bare bones FPS game. And then other years you'll have it like, you know, now where there's this Omni movement that's like kind of a crazy movement system. And, you know, now a lot of the casual players feel left out because it's like a...
I'm so happy that we can go back now and look back and stop all the lying people were doing during Modern Warfare 2. That game sucked. Okay. That game was terrible. That was the worst Call of Duty I've played, bro. That game was terrible. That game sucked.
A more advanced movement that, you know, they're just not used to, and it's now added a lot more skill gap to the game. And I think that just eventually, like, Warzone just needs...
I'm pausing a lot because I'm trying to get my points in there too. Modern Warfare 2019 was the best middle ground for casual players in sweats. I said it. Modern Warfare 2 was way too body. Modern Warfare 3 was kind of like Modern Warfare 2019 in terms of a bot / a sweat, and now Black Ops 6 is something completely different.
To pick something, right? Like, do you try to go after more of the casual player base, or do you go after more of the sweaty player base and the more competitive player base? And I just don't think that
COD is not a competitive game
for what Warzone should be and how it should play as a
game.
I think that you look at games like Fortnite, they've done a really good job of like keeping
bridging
the
that
core
gap.
feel of the game the same, but having different modes that lean more into the different player bases, right? So you have like a build mode for like the super sweats, but then you have like a more a casual mode, like no build, where people can just kind of hop on.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I played build, and I feel like
there's a way to do that for Warzone, right? Like you could basically have like a ranked mode or system where there's more skill gap and maybe some more advanced movement things, like maybe the grapple gun, I think it was called.
That'd be fire,
Blackout,
bro.
Or
Give
even
me a
having
grapple.
a jetpack movement system, or just maybe even having the Omni movement system, right? But then on the more casual modes, you go back to like the Warzone 1 movement. And I don't know exactly how it should be. I'm not the developer, and I'm not paid to make.
That's not a bad idea.
But I just think that there needs to be some sort of idea, like there needs to be some sort of identity
player, but
and
sometimes I'll hop in
vision
builds.
for
No builds,
what
still fun.
Warzone should feel like. And I'm not talking about just the mechanics either.
Nice.
I
That was
also
a good
mean
win.
the game modes. Like, I think one of the big fumbles that this game had was there for a while. They were basically making Battle Royale more like Resurgence because they were giving people so many different chances to come back into the game. And they basically saw the popularity of Resurgence and then tried to make Battle Royale into Resurgence.
That was the dumbest thing ever, bro. Battle Royale and Resurgence needed to stay apart for a reason. Like, you know what I'm saying? Give like the addition of flares and the you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's different if it's a game mode, like buyback solos on Verdansk. Such a good game. But like, yeah, I agree with that.
And I think you also saw the reverse of that, right? Like they added the nuke contracts to Rebirth Island during Warzone 3, and I think that was a bad move. And they also added the ranked mode to Resurgence because at the end of the day, I think Resurgence started as a more casual.
Now Rebirth is more sweaty than
people
VR.
just didn't take it as seriously, and it was kind of meant to be more like run and gun and less campy.
Yeah, I'm tired of this nigga calling me young.
Into like a more sweaty version of players playing for the win and like kind of playing like they played in Battle Royale. So I think in addition to the game overall, all of the different modes should also have a unique identity, and like that should be consistent throughout the game. But I can't lie, I don't know how optimistic I am that this is ever really going to get fixed, because I think with different studios creating a new Call of Duty multiplayer game every year and then trying to integrate that into Warzone, there's always going to be differences in the vision of like
give
the Warzone
me Modern
game.
Warfare 2019
and I think whether
back.
we like it or not, there's just a lot of people who are addicted to getting like what's the newest and latest and greatest game, and that whether or not
I'll turn
that
25
new game
next
is
year,
better,
chat.
if people are going to play what's new. We kind of saw firsthand like how powerful a new product can be, because pretty much the entire community hated Warzone 2, and yet you still saw
There was so many
top
people who liked it,
streamers
though.
and like the top content creators go to this new game because people are just kind of obsessed with what's new. Even if the old product was better, I think a lot of people will go to whatever the new thing is because they don't want to have they don't want to feel like they're missing out. And
I wish that a lot of more creators who went to the COD Next for Modern Warfare 2 were honest. Everybody was gassing it. Oh, first win in Warzone 2. Yeah, baby. Man, we got that game. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, chat, he's only 24. Damn. Okay. Somebody ban Taya. But yeah, bro, like,
and what was
we got 10 more minutes.
For a period of time,
chatting.
you could actually play Warzone 1 or Warzone 2, and the majority of people chose the new game. So it is kind of just like a interesting like human psychology kind of experiment. And what I think is unique about this and what's important about it is that I think that it's not really going to change, because basically Call of Duty can keep pumping out new multiplayer games year after year, and because it's a new product, people are going to be interested in what's
give
the
me Modern
difference
Warfare
of this new
2019
game, and
Warzone back, dude. I'll take that all day
to basically hang out with their friends
I
and that
missed
sort
that
of thing,
game.
kind of be in like that cultural moment of the new game. And the problem with this is that like I said, I think it works well for multiplayer because you're paying for
Gummy, that
this
wasn't
new
funny.
title and you're paying for this new game.
Lame,
but
man.
with Warzone being so tightly integrated with multiplayer, it just doesn't really match that model because I don't think that there is enough development time to basically take the multiplayer version and integrate it into Warzone without having a ton of bugs and a ton of quality life issues. Basically,
Yes.
you know, what we've seen over time is that essentially you have like maybe 6 to 8 months out of the year
Valorant.
where
I like
Warzone
Val.
feels really good because
I might actually try to play Valorant. I got a new mouse pad coming in tomorrow and I want to try Valorant. It'll be a perfect game to play.
basically when
I might
the
play a
new
little
multiplayer
Val.
comes out, you have 2 to 3
I gotta
months
update it now.
of
I'ma check.
bugs and issues from the integration
reminded me.
where, you know, whoever's
I just
doing-
got my
whatever
Wooting.
studio is doing the integration, they basically have to go
Dude,
back
I want to
through
get
and
the
fix all these
I want to get the
different bugs.
Optimum
So by
Wooting so
then, okay,
bad, but
you're
it's like
in,
$300.
February or so. And then, you know, for the next 6 months,
might cop.
there's you know, all these
I just don't feel
quality of
like
life
waiting, bro.
improvements, and the game just gets better over time, and you know, it's really good. But then you get towards the like later end of the summer, and now all the studios are preparing for this new yearly release, and they kind of
9
stop
days to
updating
come.
the game. It gets really stale, and
It's
essentially
fire.
you have like another
It
2
is.
months or so where, you know, the game just isn't getting updates. So if you know, total that up, you pretty much have like 4 to 5 months out of the year where the game just isn't getting updates, or basically they're just like, you know, running around fixing all of these massive issues from the integration.
Yes. That's something that has happened a lot. We come to the end of a life cycle and the last 3 months of Warzone are super good. Those last like 4 months of Warzone 3 were actually pretty fun. The game wasn't broken to hell, and now we get a new integration and it's like the cycle again. Just like the end of Warzone 1 was amazing, or Rebirth Island, Sunset Rebirth Island on Warzone 1. Magnifique. You know what I'm saying? But like now it's like every single time we get it's a cycle.
So essentially you have this live service game that is like really not playable for like half the year, and I just don't see that really
Is it hard? It's hard getting
as
used to the
long
looting?
as
Same.
Warzone is tied to the multiplayer.
Yo, Modern Warfare 2
version of
dropped.
the
I was
game.
like,
and
yo.
I really struggle to see, you know, how Call of Duty or Activision is going to change that, because they make so much money with these yearly releases of Call of Duty, and I think a lot of people, myself included, like I'll buy the Call of Duty, you know, multiplayer game so that I can level up my guns for Warzone. And so that kind of tells me that I'm part of the problem, right? Buying this game, because I really don't really touch multiplayer outside of Warzone.
Same.
And I think a lot of people are probably in that same boat where they basically buy their multiplayer game to kind of get a head start on Warzone. So
Yep.
unfortunately,
That's the only thing you can really
Warzone
do.
is just so tied to multiplayer from a financial standpoint that I think that there'd have to be some really massive changes in how people are buying the multiplayer game for this to ever really change. Okay, this next issue is another big one, and it really comes down to one thing. Now, there's an old saying that is, you know, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. And I think that any company out there in the world, right? Like
I spent
one of the
$150 on
hardest things to do as a
multiplayer.
company
Same.
is to
I spent
gain
$100 every year for
trust
multiplayer,
from
bro.
your consumer.
They be
And
getting
I
me,
think
bro. I'm a
that
part of
with
the problem.
Activision
I
and
am.
the business practices just lost the trust of the community. You know, for years now, they've been saying that they hear the community and they're
Cap.
going to fix some of these core issues like
Cap.
cheating, like the servers, you know, having poor performance,
Man,
the
man.
audio being really
Like a line,
bad.
like a-
And essentially, it's just never really getting fixed. And I think that you, like, as a company, you have a certain amount of goodwill
Look at
from
this
your
nigga.
consumers.
What kind of
and
lobby he
you
got?
Basically have
My bad,
such
focus.
A great
It's not what this
legacy
video is
in
about.
history like Call of Duty does, but basically making these bad business practices and, you know, kind of
I bought
lying
Vault
to
Pack
your
Zoo.
consumer
Yeah, they give
base
me every
over
year.
and over again. You start to erode
Jay
that
Coochie
goodwill
lobby.
that you have until eventually you just have a
Two box
community
of
of people
hell.
that just don't trust you. And it's not even just those core issues. I think a big hot topic for a long time has been matchmaking. There's a lot of discussion on skill-based matchmaking.
Skill-based matchmaking
whether or
sucks. I'm
not
so
you
tired of
should,
that,
you know,
man.
match players based on skill. There's been a lot of discussion on engagement optimized matchmaking, which is essentially an AI algorithm.
I'd
that
rather
is
two box all
determining,
day
you know,
than
essentially
go through that,
how
bro.
Your
Not gonna
gaming
cap.
session is going to go in terms of the
I'm gonna be completely honest, bro. I would rather two box all day than play 8 hours of Rebirth ranked stack of hell. Y'all don't get it, bro. A lot of people don't get it, bro. Especially the 9-to-5ers. I'm a 9-to-5er now, but I used to be that full-time creator. Y'all don't get it, bro. Especially when you're trying to get content. Content is, it's like, bro, If you hate two boxing, you hate WWE. Now let me tell you why I say that. This is a great analogy. Oh my gosh. WWE was fake from the start, gang. But why did we watch it? To be entertained. Somebody dropping 70 kills on Rebirth is pure entertainment. That's all it is. If he got it in the 2-box lobby, oh well. You feel what I'm saying? You watch WWE, you like Dave Bautista, RKO, it's not real. You feel what I'm saying? 9 to 5, go ahead and let me own $200.
Losses, it's going to give you some easy lobbies and some harder lobbies, and basically it's an algorithm designed to keep you on the game. And I think just over time, the average person has become much more aware of these manipulation tactics when it comes to matchmaking and just like kind of keeping.
As soon as I get a win in Warzone,
essentially, you know,
and I got more than 20 kills, my next 5 lobbies are the World Series of Warzone lobbies.
Basically putting profit over fun, right? Instead of making a better game by
why don't I 2-box?
Improving the quality of the servers.
I got some homies that actually got pretty good lobbies, so I just play with them.
It just feels like this game
if I do decide to play, and I don't play for content no more.
The game longer, you know, it's the store is never down, right? Because they make money on the store.
I knew WWE was fake when Rey Mysterio run against all the buff MFs.
Say all the right things in their press releases, and you know,
chill on my homie Ray.
Working on these issues, and there just isn't really any 619.
That was my stay.
I think for a while, you know, that works, right? Like you know, you can lie to your consumers for a certain period of time, but eventually people kind of, you know, catch on and get smart. And I think that, you know, we're at a point now where a lot of these promises just you know, have been empty promises, and
Facts.
We're now multiple years into Warzone, and people just are seeing the same issues over and over again. So essentially people have lost trust in Activision or Warzone to right the ship. They're just
I agree. I think the player base is a part of the problem too. Chad, there were people online complaining when they took away visual recoil. Let me show y'all something real quick, bro. Let me pull up a video. One of my older videos. I know I got an automaton video. Hold on. Look at this. Look at the visual recoil on this game, y'all. Look at this. Automaton. I can see what I'm shooting at. Oh my God. First of all.
Enemy drop.
And this is a Vanguard gun.
You got gas.
Peek. Yeah, this is low key peek me. Low key. The game don't feel like this no more, bro. It's not the same. And this is a bad build.
All right. Enemy.
It's a bad build. Look at this, bro. Look at that. I miss this game so much. Dude, I miss this game so much, dog. I miss this game so much. Look at the old ham cam. This one I was using, the little sky pad with the camera on the side. Y'all wasn't there. Little glass pad though. Look at the visual recoil on this. Look at the visual recoil. Barely any. Come on, yo. When I saw people complaining about visual recoil being taken, like taking visual recoil out, I'm like, we lost the plot, bro. We lost the plot, bro. Look at this. We want to talk about visual recoil. Look at this. Oh, dude. Yeah, he got up out of there. Look at this. Oh, I miss it so much. Back to dreamstrike video before I cry.
don't trust this company to actually make a better game and a better product. Essentially, they're just trying to extract.
Now I'm watching this and it's just making me mad. This gameplay sucks.
Revenue from their product as possible without actually improving it. So far this video I know has been like a lot of doom and gloom, and I will say, and I want to make this clear, is that I still think that this game overall can be a very fun game.
Thank you.
Back to my first point, I think like when the stars align, right, and like when you get a good server with no cheaters and you get good audio, the game can be great, fun. And I think that there are a lot of ways and things that Call of Duty can do to
Warzone 1 I was different. Warzone 1 I was different.
Back on track to,
I ain't gonna lie,
making Warzone as great as it once was. And I'm gonna kind of take some of these points from Burger. He's another Warzone creator who should definitely check out his channel, which I will link in the description. And he posted a couple of steps that he would do to basically
Unc wasn't top
Warzone.
3, bro. Stop calling me Unc, bro.
Publicly apologize to the community, and I think that is step number 1, and is probably the most important thing. Is you really got to start rebuilding that trust. And at first it's just going to be empty words, because words without actions don't really mean a whole lot. But I think that is like the first step. The next step would be to publish a clear roadmap of like what are the changes.
What are we going to be doing?
We expect these changes, and this will at least hold Activision accountable. The third is to separate Warzone from multiplayer. Like I said, I think that this should happen. I am a little bit unsure of whether or not it will. It's really going to just come down to the financials of the game. But I do think that overall, if you're looking at just the Warzone side of things, I do think that it does need to be separate, because history has shown that it's just not feasible to update Warzone every year to match the multiplayer version of the game.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
I just think that from the Warzone side of things, that this just has to happen for the survival of Warzone specifically. The next step is to give management of Warzone to a single studio. I think that is really important.
Get that bitch a Raven.
We want to have like one unified vision for Warzone, and we want to like stop this flip-flopping back and forth.
Nigga had 28 this game
with a completely different
this
game.
Was a ball.
The fifth is to take the game back as close as possible to the Warzone 1 launch. I think Warzone 1 had a great mix of skill gap with the movement system, and I think that it was
turn them Warzone 1 servers on, y'all. Come on, let's wrap this up by summertime. Let's wrap this. I stutter of hell. Let's wrap this BO6 up by summertime.
It's just a great place for Warzone overall, and that's just a great base for like the company.
So look at his Jackal build. That shit suck, bro.
The sixth is to completely overhaul Ricochet. I think that's kind of a no-brainer. Obviously, we are losing the war to cheaters, and they just need to basically bring Ricochet up to industry standards and do things similar to Valorant and other games, and really take anti-cheat more seriously. The seventh is to upgrade the quality of the servers. Also, I think a no-brainer. At the end of the day, you want people to feel like they're getting a fair chance in their gunfights, and to feel like their bullets are
definitely used to be going crazy with their Apex reactions.
Better servers,
I wasn't even an Apex content creator.
They definitely need to overhaul the audio system and make audio a priority. Like I said, it's 50% of your gaming experience, and it just needs to be as good as possible to eliminate a lot of the randomness in your matches. And then they need to get the community more involved. I think one of the best things other games like Fortnite
and Val, they shut the whole game down as soon as a nigga turned on cheats. That's what we need to start doing.
Players to create community run games and modified versions of games to basically just add some
watching
fun
Warzone 1 and watching this is night and day.
These modes are really unique and really fun, because oftentimes these modes are less competitive, and it's more about just having a good time. And at the end of the day, if Activision and Call of Duty starts prioritizing having fun over profit, I think this game will be in a much better state.
How did he lose that? I agree with that last thing he said, though. As soon as they start prioritizing fun over money, that's when the game will start being fun again. That was a W video, bro. I agree with pretty much everything he said in that. It's a freaking, I don't know, man. We got to do something, because me watching those like 20 seconds of this right here, how good this looks. This looks so good. Oh my gosh. Come on. Look how good this looks. Dude. They don't do it like this no more, man. This game, oh my God. I feel it when I'm watching this, y'all, that real big sense of nostalgia is coming over me, and I can't take it. I'm done. But yeah, everything dreamstrike said in that video, I can attest to. Turn on those Warzone 1 servers, make Warzone 1 the standard for Warzone, and just build on top of that and go from there.